This is the Everything Weight Loss podcast with Shari Ware, where we talk about everything, all things, anything to do with weight loss, health, and wellness. So today I have the beautiful Elizabeth Taylor from Taylor Made Health, who is a naturopath and a herbalist. After completing her Bachelor of Health Science degree, she first worked in pharmacy and health food shops before going into her own clinic full-time. Elizabeth specialises in, wait for it because it's very exciting, I'm so excited to be doing this episode, live blood analysis, genetic testing, and the Cell Wellbeing Report. Her clinic is on the Gold Coast in Australia. However, she offers online appointments and has clients as far away as the United States. Elizabeth is interested in the biochemistry of the human body and never stops asking why to every issue that people have. Very good question, that why. I absolutely have the same. I'm not going to say it's a problem because it's not a problem. I actually feel like it's a very good thing. She prefers to look at the cause of the issue rather than treating the symptoms. So definitely on my page. So first of all, I'd love to welcome you to the show, Elizabeth. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Shari. It's making such a difference for you to be able to do podcasts and giving people a platform to be able to talk on about their issues and what they can do for other people as well.
Well, I find one of the biggest things is that people don't know what they don't know, and that causes a whole lot of issues. So I feel really blessed that I decided to start this podcast, because not only am I learning a lot on the way, and I know I'm going to learn a lot from you today, but everybody else is along the journey. So thank you so much for joining me. And I'm going to ask you first of all, because I feel that our stories are what brings us to where we are in life. They're so integral, and it also helps other people when they know our story. It helps them to understand us, where we're coming from, and also that we truly understand what they're going through. So as the very first question I'm going to ask you, it is, what is your story? Why do you do what you do?
Okay, so my story started back in the mid-90s. Actually, before that, I was never really a well child. I had asthma, I had stomach problems. I didn't seem to tolerate anything very well. I was always bloated, but I had, my skinny little arms, and I just never seemed to get better. And then as I started to, develop, I think I had a zinc deficiency as a teenager, and I realize that now. But I just was never well. And then I got the Sydney water bug when that was going around. And I also got Campylobacter, and that was it for my gut. That was it. My gut was just a mess. And I went to all the doctors, and they were like, it's all in your head. And I was like, well, fine, if it's all in my head, I'm going to go get myself a hypnotherapist and a psychologist, and I deal with all of my problems, and I still had the same gut problem. So I went back to them and said, this isn't happening. So I went and got cameras, and they found absolutely nothing. And I thought, this is ridiculous. I've hit the wall. I'm going to have to fix myself. So I did. And I found out, I went on a diet. I don't do things like that anymore. We've got other programs that we can use now. But I did things the hard way, and I had to go right back to the start. And I found out it was pretty much just wheat and sulfites. There were other things that don't agree with me. I'll get rashes. It can be anywhere from my face all the way through. And you get different rashes compared to what you eat. So if I have gluten, I'll have hot spots on my belly, and I'll have the itchy inside of the elbows. If it's seafood, it'll be under the arms here. If it's grains, it'll be around here. That's also fatty acid deficiency. But I had to figure all of this out myself. So I thought, and people are saying to me, so many people have gut issues, you should really help them out. And I thought, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. So I went and got a 4-year degree. I went and got all the qualifications that I needed. I've never stopped studying. I went into pharmacy. I did community pharmacy. I learned all about that. I learned all about the problems that people have. I've gone to every single seminar, weekend away, everything that I could get my hands on. And I learned and I learned and I learned. Then I opened my own clinic. I've got the live blood analysis. I did the genetic testing when that came out, so I understood every single level. And now I've got Cell Wellbeing, so we can get to the point quickly, and you don't have to go through what I went through. So I really do this so that you don't have to go through what I went through. And I just hate hearing people say it's all in your head, or, what they say is kind of wrong. They say, we can't do you can't do anything, or you have no options, or whatever. No, they don't have anything that they can do for you, but that doesn't mean that they're the end of the line. In no way are they the end of the line. If they can't help you, then go find someone else.
There's always somebody that can help you. It's just finding the right person. And sometimes it's more than one person. Sometimes they say it takes a village to raise a child. I feel like this is quite often the same way. So I feel like out of everything that you've gone through, if you were to say that you had a superpower, what would you say it was?
I think my superpower is actually listening to people when they talk about their issues and finding the reasons that things are happening to you. Then we can go back and find the cause of them, and from there we can give you a different life. Yeah. We can give you a much better life. We can give you health and well-being where you really need it.
Awesome. So I would love to know more about what is live blood analysis, what is genetic testing, what is the Cell Wellbeing Report. Give us an overview so that we understand how that can really help us.
What I try and do in clinic is find out what you don't like, what you need more of, and how your environment is affecting you. So as you probably know, you probably want answers as to why things are affecting you. We can have a look. When we have a look at live blood analysis, we're actually looking at not only your red blood cells, but your white blood cells, and also the plasma that everything sits in. So your body tells a story to me and to you, and your blood can't lie. Your blood is from your bone marrow. So they're the cells that the bone marrow are creating. So they have all of these pictures that they give to you. You can see it for yourself in real time. And then you can do everything that you need to do, and you can come back and you can have another look. And we can have a look at the plasma and see how much it's changed and see how much clearer it is now. That's really important. The genetic testing is to find out your playing field. So we can find out what you do well and what you don't do well. So we can have a look at how is your liver, how are you set up, how do you take in and detoxify chemicals, what's happening with your hormones. A really simple explanation to, even coffee, for example. Some people are good at detoxifiers of coffee. They can have a coffee at 5 o'clock and go to bed and sleep all night long. Other people, if they had a coffee at 5 o'clock, they wouldn't sleep for 2 days. So these are the things that are genetically written. So we can help with detox, but how much help do you need? Do you just need a little bit of a push along or a lot? So the next thing I do is a Cell Wellbeing Report, and that gives us everything. That gives you the foods that don't resonate with you. It shows you the foods that will help you. It'll go through all the nutrients that you're low in. It'll go through all your antioxidants that you need. It'll go through all the amino acids that you need. And it'll also go through your environmental challenges. And if you've got, if you picked up a parasite from overseas or over here or wherever the case may be, or your gut bacteria, or fungal, or you're coming in contact with mold from, say, an air conditioning vent at work, or whatever the case may be, and it will bring it up. And as soon as it brings it up, people go, oh yeah, I've felt like this since blah, 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 and this, that, and the other. And they can really relate to it. And then we can do everything that we need to do and get you back in. And then we'll do another test and we run it side by side and we compare every single chart over and over again until it looks better. And you're always not going to be 100%. You're not aiming for perfection. You're learning about yourself, what you need, what you're sensitive to, what you've come in contact with, whatever the case may be. You're just learning all about yourself and you're fixing things as you go along.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a car where this is the best way to say it is, this is your house and this is your car. So you constantly need to do maintenance to your car. You need to change the oil. You need to put petrol in it. You need to make sure the water is clean. You need to do things to this car to maintain it. Your body is the same thing. You don't want to be driving around in an old Datsun. You want to be driving around in a Maserati. But people don't see it that way. They're not looking down. They're not looking within themselves and going, how is my engine going?
Yeah.
How is it going? How am I firing?
So I really love the car analogy, and I actually use car analogies a lot because there's something that we can all relate to. And I feel like the difference with you, specifically with the car, so I feel like I have a car and I'm not a mechanic, and I have no idea how my car runs. I know that I need to take it to be serviced, but please don't ask me to service it because I have no idea. I only know that I've got to put unleaded fuel into the tank because somebody told me I have to put unleaded fuel into the tank, otherwise it will break. Otherwise, I would never know. So I feel like a lot of people are like me. They have a car, but they have no idea how it runs or what they might know some things, like we know that we need to put the unleaded fuel into the tank, but otherwise,
Yes.
really, what else do we know? But that's where people like you come in. You're the person, it sounds like, from doing these reports, you are able to tell us, okay, that needs fixing. You might not have known that there was a problem with the air pump. You didn't know there was a problem with the air pump, but I'm telling you now, your tests are showing me that there's a problem with the air pump, and this is what we need to do to fix it, which we wouldn't have known if we didn't come to you. And I feel like if you go to, a normal doctor, your GP is not going to be doing these tests. Am I right?
Yes, definitely. So doctors have a very small scope of practice that they can work in, and that's all that they are allowed to do. And when you go to a doctor, you're agreeing to their terms and conditions, which is, I diagnose a problem, I give you a script, that's as far as I can go. But that isn't the same with naturopaths. We have a much greater scope, especially since we've got herbs, and herbs are drugs and they have to be treated as such. We can do things to whatever you want, really. There is always a herb out there for you. The other thing is with the mechanics, my brother is actually a mechanic. It's a 4-year apprenticeship. Mine's a 4-year degree. So it is a lot of work. You have to get to know every single part of it. I treat whatever walks in. So I have to know every single part of the engine, everything it does. And I have to understand, when something is misfiring, where is it coming from? What do we have to do to fix it? So it's constantly looking at the body as a machine, as that biochemistry, and looking at what is going on, what part of it is not working, and what do we do about it.
Yeah. So, and I guess another way to put it too is, and this is all coming up from this conversation with you for me, so I know if this is coming up for me, these are questions or other people are going to be feeling the same. So I've just learned to say whatever comes into my head. I also feel like you are a different kind of specialist. So we go to our GP, they're a general practitioner. Just say we have, I don't know, what other kinds of specialists. So say we've got a problem with our ears, we've got to go to an ear, nose and throat specialist. So it sounds like you, like for me, I feel like you are another kind of specialist. The only difference is most GPs aren't referring us to you as a specialist.
No, that's a decision that you have to make for yourself.
Yeah.
So that's a decision. Usually it's the end of the line, and you tried everyone else, everything else, and then you end up coming to me or someone like me.
Well, I think though that's only because people don't realise, because people aren't told, and we don't know what we don't know, which is why I do these podcasts, which is why I really wanted to interview you, because it's about having conversations and getting those conversations out there, because that's how people get to know, oh, wow, okay, well, I didn't actually know that a naturopath could help me with my issue, or a herbalist could help me with my issue. Because I think a lot of there's a lot of perceptions out there by people that it's very woo-woo. I'm just going to say it because I know.
No, it's all very science now. We're all very science-based. I'm not a woo-woo person at all. And when I was going through naturopathic college, obviously the woo-woo people came and went.
Yeah.
Because it's all science. So I started off with somewhere between 35 and 38 people, I'm not sure. And I was the top of the class, and I graduated with another 11 people. And that was 14 total, including the ones that were doing it part-time. So it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. And they're brutal because they only want the best to survive. And that was the attitude. So, when you see a naturopath, you're seeing the ones that survive.
Yes, and you're doing testing, you're testing blood, you're doing genetic testing.
Yes.
You're not making this up, you're not looking at something and trying to figure out what's going on. We're
using your cells to test. We use your cells. So when I do, for example, the peripheral blood flow punch to actually put it on a slide and put it under the microscope, they're your cells. We're looking at you. It's the least invasive way I can do it. So that's what I try and do all the time. I find the least invasive way. When we do a genetic test, we're just taking a swab from the side of the mouth. So we can do this in children. We can do it in anybody. So we make it nice and easy. So it is the least invasive way of doing it. And we use the tissues that will give us the most information that we can get to as well. So when we're doing it, I'm looking at the information. I'm explaining it all to you. I want you to bring your blood test. I want you to bring everything to me so that we can look at the entire picture. I'm going to re-explain everything that I find. I'm going to tell you about yourself. And then I'm going to explain what your options are from this point. What would you like to do? What suits you? What's going to work in with your lifestyle? What are okays and what are the things that you absolutely won't, shift?
Yeah.
That's okay. That's up to you. You don't have to do everything. And you also have to live a life that you're happy with as well.
Yes.
So when you're looking at it, I'm going to say we need to do this, we need to do that. Oh, you need more potassium. What foods do you like that contain potassium?
Yeah.
Not like, oh, you have to eat this. That's not going to work. It's not going to work for you. It's not going to work for anyone.
I can definitely tell you that.
It does work. I talk to you about it and we find a solution that fits you.
Yes.
So it's not just about, oh, this is what it is. Here's your script. That's it.
Yeah.
See you in whatever. That doesn't work for me. I'm not going to do it to someone else.
Yeah, so I have a slogan: I help you find your healthy your way. So that's the same, exactly the same thing.
Exactly.
Definitely on
I want to know what's happening with you. I want to know what your story is, what your body has to tell me. I don't want to treat you like everybody else because you're not everybody else. No. You're you. And the most important thing was we look at you like an individual that you are and we treat you as the individual that you are. And we keep on changing it as your body grows and develops and gets better.
Yeah.
So we don't just put you on one thing and you have to stay on it because that's not right either.
No.
Like how long, if you've got a deficiency and you treat the deficiency, why would you want to stay on something for? You don't need to.
Yeah, once it's sorted, it's sorted. You move on to the next thing.
Yes, exactly. Awesome. But if it comes back, we want to know why.
Yes. Awesome. Yeah. Okay, so we might have already covered some of this, but I just like to make it super clear for people.
Yes.
And I actually don't like to use the word mistake. I know that I put that in my question to you, but that's just because I didn't word it better. So what are the things that you find people mostly do that don't help them on their health and wellness journey for whatever reason?
I think that people spend too much time and money before they give up and come and see a natural health professional. It's everybody's got advice. They do, but they don't have a 4-year degree hanging on the wall saying, no, how do we actually test for you? How do we find out what actually is happening for you? And people have cupboards full of supplements and they've tried this and they've tried that and they've done this and they've done that. What is it that your body actually needs? Stop wasting your time and money and find someone that's going to help you find the answer. Otherwise, you are just going to get so frustrated with yourself when it's probably right in front of you. You just can't see it. It's really hard to diagnose and treat yourself. I do not do that. I go and see someone else. I go and see other people for everything. I never do it because I'm too close. Yeah. I know me, but I can't look at it in a very cold and clinical way because it's me. Yeah. So I'm not going to see the big picture ever. Yeah. It's always like that.
We always need that other voice.
You do always need that other voice. You need someone to look at it and I hate to say this, but a cold clinical way, but they're doing it with care.
Yeah, take the emotion out of it. We're too close emotionally.
Yeah, because they want you to succeed. So the other thing is, if there's one thing, if we could stop doing or try and create a better life around is stress. Stress is the ultimate. If you can think about your nutrition, your vitamins, your minerals, your antioxidants, your amino acids, your fatty acids, and even some of it, like inositol, which is like a sugar type chemical, you've got to look at your nutrition as your body's currency. So you've got to change the way you think about yourself. And stress is the biggest bill, and you just keep on paying with your nutrition. So what do you run your body with after you finish with all that stressing that you've just done? So you've always got to reframe things in your mind. You've got to get the help that you need. You've got to make sure that, if you are under stress, you've got to start covering yourself. You've got to start eating well. What nutrients do I need? How do I help myself? Because with stress, it's, you will end up on my doorstep or someone else's doorstep because you need us, because the stress has made you tired, which has made you sick, which has made you not detox, which has made you feel, and it just keeps on going on and on. So you've got to be careful about what is happening in your life and how you are reacting to it and feeling about it.
Yeah. Okay.
So you've got your structures in place as well.
Okay, so, and stress is definitely a big one. That's one of the biggest things I see in my clients as well. So what are the steps that people could take that would serve them better in their health and wellness journey? And in particular, what's one step, or what would be the biggest step that you would say, or the biggest action they could take after listening to this episode that's going to get them moving in the right direction?
I think it would be to find someone who is prepared to look at you, your biochemistry, what you're missing, what you shouldn't be eating, what you should be eating, and try and work with you to find that balance again. If you don't understand what is happening within yourself, you can't get better. You just keep on going around and around in circles, and you don't get to where you want. And if there's one thing I could say, and I might be jumping ahead, I don't know, but if there's one thing I can say, please, you can't, I find that it's just a couple of things. It's really just a couple of things, but you can't run the human body if you don't have all the tools for the job. So you might be taking something, you've taken it for 12 months, you've taken it for too long, it's not what you need anymore, it's what you did need then, it's not what you need now, and now you need to reassess the situation. So people will start on something, they feel better, they think they've found the magic answer, and it's actually just a magic answer for that period of time. So they haven't done it and then reassessed and then done something and reassessed and done something and reassessed. So they're not actually moving forward. They're stuck back here, but it worked then. But it worked. Well, yeah, it worked then, but it's not going to work now.
Yeah, because you're different now.
You're different now. That was then. You fixed that deficiency. What are you going to do now? Or you cut that food out of your diet and you've gone, I feel better, and then your body's gone, but now I've got something else to deal with. Yeah. You've got to keep moving forward all the time.
We are continually evolving, aren't we?
We are, and we're also continually coming across, you might pick up another viral pathogen, or you might pick up a parasite, or, you get rid of the parasite, and what do you have to do then? And all of this kind of stuff. So you just keep on moving along. You just keep on moving. You don't think, I've taken that, it feels good, I'm going to keep on doing it for the rest of my life. That doesn't work.
Yeah. Awesome. So that is a question I was going to ask you. What's the one big thing? And you've answered that beautifully. So thank you.
The other thing, if I can keep going, if that's okay. The other thing I want to really explain to people, and this is, if there was, one of the reasons that I really wanted to do this today is not only to say you've got options with regards to your health and well-being and what's going to happen to you in the future and how much control you actually have to find the answers for you and you alone. But the other thing I have to say is your body is a machine, and obviously, just like a car, if you're missing a part, it's not going to work. And there's perfectly good examples that I could tell you where you go, oh, that makes perfect sense. If you get an iron deficiency, you develop iron deficiency anemia, and you develop iron deficiency anemia because in the red blood cell, there's only one mineral that's going to go into that cell, and that's iron. Not calcium, not chromium, not copper, not zinc, not selenium. It's iron or it's nothing. You look at bone health. So it's calcium or it's nothing. So obviously there's more minerals to it, and you need D3 to get calcium in the body and K2 to put it into the bone and the teeth. But You're starting to get the idea. Without zinc, you don't make testosterone. If you don't have it, then you can't run your immune system properly, and then your gut goes, and then you're not producing your neurotransmitters, so you're sad every day, and then you feel sick and sad. So if you don't have the right tools for the job, you don't get the job done, and you don't get what you need. An iron deficiency or calcium deficiency in anemia or osteoporosis is a perfect example. If you don't have it, it's like walking into a shop but not having any money. What are you going to be able to buy? Nothing. So if you don't have your B vitamins and your minerals to run your Krebs cycle, you won't lose weight. Yeah. It's as simple as that, because you literally can't. It's like having a power station and having no coal. It's really as simple as that. You can't. So another example, working back from that, you've got your mitochondria where the Krebs cycle is. Then you've got between, to shuttle fat between the cell wall and the mitochondria, you need carnitine. So if you don't have carnitine, that doesn't happen. In the fat cell itself, you've got uncoupling protein. So uncoupling protein is a calcium-based enzyme. So if you don't have enough calcium, not only your teeth and bones going to suffer, but you will put on weight because you can't move the fat into the muscle. It's really as simple as that. You can't do it. You need all of these steps to make things happen. But if you don't have the nutrients that it takes to do the job will not get done. So if you don't have iodine for your thyroid, so you can't produce thyroid hormone, you simply won't have thyroid hormone. So what happens is, instead of using your thyroid as your accelerator, you use your adrenals instead, and you burn yourself out. But if you don't have your iodine, your selenium, your copper, vitamins and everything else you need and the tyrosine to make a thyroid hormone, you just don't get it. And you wake up tired and you're tired all day long and your hair doesn't look good and everything else that happens when your thyroid's not working. But you're beating yourself up endlessly because you go into the gym and you're doing everything right, and you can't lose weight, but you can't lose weight because you're low in zinc or you're low in copper.
So the point is, the really important point, because I know that there's probably lots of things, and that's where you come in. You're the specialist. There's lots of things, but the point is, we're not going to know whether we're missing anything by looking at ourselves in the mirror.
Exactly.
The only way we're going to know if we are missing anything, and I would go so far as to say, if there's something that you have been struggling with in your body, in your health, and it can be anything, it can be weight, give me some of the symptoms that might be there. So
when you're just going through your whole day and you're absolutely exhausted, when you feel tired and weary and teary, when you should be happy but you're not, when you've got cramps, when your legs don't feel right, when we've got tension in your neck, when you're getting headaches for just no apparent reason, when your hormones are all over the place and you're just happy and sad, and you've got menstrual regulation problems, and you've got so many issues within yourself, when your gut is not working, when you've got reflux and constipation and diarrhea, and you're just all over the place. So
any of those things, if you've got any of that, if you're just not right in your body and you haven't had an answer, I would be making an appointment to go and see Elizabeth.
Yes.
And you don't have to go to see her. You do online stuff, so you can be anywhere.
Online stuff, yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Because
especially with mums. Especially with mums, because we can do it and the kids are running out and everything's happening.
That's right. I need to take, we can put up a lot of barriers as mum. Well, it's not even barriers. We just have a lot of things to do. So if we can make it quick and easy.
Yes, exactly. It's my life too. I understand.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm very good as well to not give someone too much. I never say you have to take 15 things and you have to do this, you have to do that. Yeah. No, I'm going to say, you've got kids, or you've got this, or you got that, or you've got a huge amount of work, or elderly parents.
Yeah.
Let's
work on the most important thing.
How do we work around all of this? How do we make it easier on you? Are you going to be able to take tablets? Is it easy to do a powder? What do we do? How do we work it in with you?
Awesome. So if somebody has any of that stuff going on, and if you didn't catch all of it, hit rewind, go back, listen to it again. If any of that resonates with you, then you want to make an appointment with Elizabeth. I will be putting all of Elizabeth's details into the show notes, and I know that in the future I will be having more interviews with Elizabeth, because as you can see from this episode, there is a lot that can be going on. So yes, and I don't want to give people too much at once. We like to have small, can walk away, do something. And so today was only meant to be an overview, and then we'll do some further episodes later. And I also, Elizabeth, I haven't told you this yet, but well, I kind of probably did, but I'm going to be making an appointment with you so that I can come and get my testing done, and then we'll do an episode on that, because I'm really excited to be doing that.
I would love that. That would be my absolute dream. I'm ecstatic. I can't wait. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. You're going to really, really love it. You get to learn lots about yourself, and we get to have a look at what's happening with you. It is I talk a lot, just in case you haven't noticed. I do talk a lot. So definitely I would love that so much. You're going to be excited with what you find, and you're going to feel a lot better within yourself because you have specific direction. And it's something that we all need.
Awesome. And that feels like it's the next step in my journey. I find that what I need comes to me when I need it, which is why Elizabeth has come into my life right now. So we're going to end it there, because we don't want to give you too much. We don't want to overwhelm you today. I will be putting all of Elizabeth's details into the show notes so that you can reach out to her, connect with her. If you resonate with any of what we've said and you want to explore that further, I'd love to thank you for joining me today, Elizabeth.
It was my pleasure. I loved it. It was great to talk to you, and I hope that everybody learned something today and that you see yourself in a different way. And it's good. It's wonderful, because your biochemistry is often, you beat yourself up over something, and then I come along and go, oh, you got a so-and-so. And you're like, oh my God, where were you like a couple of years ago when all this was happening? And
it wasn't that you're doing anything wrong. You just didn't know. That you needed to do that. Yeah,
it was like me. Right. I didn't know. So we have to start somewhere. So that's what we do. We just start at the beginning.
Awesome place to start. So thank you for joining me. I can't wait until we do the next episode and I come and get my testing done with you and we do that. And I'll see everybody else on the next episode. See ya.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. Remember to check out the show notes, and if you have any comments, feedback or suggestions, I'd love to hear them. If you've received value from this podcast, make sure to subscribe, and I'd love you to rate and review the show. Have a fabulous day.